Hello, I'm AB.
I'm Reimagined.
And this is our friend,
Michael.
And this is Godly Geeks Studios, and this is our movie reviews.
Movie reviews.
Ooh. I love that so much. So this is our Star Wars reviews. So we're leading up to Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
So if you haven't watched any of our other previous movie review episodes, go ahead and watch that.
As you may miss some context.
You will. It's going to happen. It's just going to happen.
Because chances are we're going to talk about stuff from the other movies we watched.
Yes. But we are on episode 4, A New Hope.
Finally making it to the original trilogy, which is the finest piece of the Star Wars franchise. I'm going to ask you to stop.
I get really excited, okay? I love the originals.
The originals are the best. I don't think there's anybody that's going to fight them.
That's good.
That Star Wars never got better than the originals. Anybody who says different is
a liar,
a very big liar.
Sir, your opinion is accounted
a half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
I don't know what just happened. We're just going to continue to move forward. Anyway, so this is episode 4, and these are my favorites. I love episode 4 and 5 and 6 because these are the Star Wars movies I started with when I was like 6. Mm-hmm. And like the wonder and the amazement, just Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewie, the Force, the Millennial Falcon or Falcon. Han says Falcon. A lot of us say Falcon, but it's Falcon.
It's a matter. It is interchangeable.
Maybe it's the Mandela effect.
It's really different people say it different ways. It's literally just
because I could have sworn the guy said Falcon, and then I watched it today and I went, he says Falcon? Very confusing. Anyway,
either one applies. It's the same thing.
Yeah. But anyway, I just love episode 4. So Ryan here is going to just kind of gently try to summarize the movie because there's no real easy way to summarize episode 4 because you just want to talk about the whole thing. But he's just going to give you the basic plot.
The film has been so ingrained in film culture, it's kind of hard not to talk about the film without pretty much going into every single plot detail. But I'll try to give somewhat of a general summary of what's going on. So basically there's, this empire. They rule the whole galaxy. And there's this other group called the Rebels that don't exactly like the way the empire is ruling things. So they're constantly kind of at odds with each other. And one of their little expeditions, which the empire is chasing the Rebels, because they found some plans to destroy their new super weapon, the Death Star, which has the ability to destroy planets. The Rebels have found the plans for the super weapon, and the Empire's like, no, you can't have those. Give those back. And the Rebels are like, no, we want them because you're gonna be evil and junk.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so they get put in a droid. The droid ends up on the planet Tatooine, gets bought by a moisture farmer named Luke Skywalker, who, after finding out a secret message from the Princess of Alderaan, Princess Leia, requesting help from Obi-Wan Kenobi, he goes and seeks Obi-Wan's help.
Who he knows is Old Ben.
Yes, and they end up finding some smugglers who can take them to Alderaan to hopefully deliver the plans to the Princess and help the Rebel Alliance fighting against the super weapon.
Spoilers!
Yes, I'd be surprised if you don't know about the story of this film, given the fact that it's been out 30-something years now. It's such a big part of popular culture and movies in general. So many things have referenced it. Family Guy did some specials. Robot Chicken did some specials. Just about everything's referenced Star Wars in one way or another, so I'd be surprised if you didn't know at least a little something.
Star Wars has its own day.
Star Wars does have its own day.
So, come on, people.
May the 4th.
I hope you know.
Actually, 2, if you want to be technical.
Revenge of the 6th?
Revenge of the 5th.
I always say it's Revenge of the 6th.
I mean, they're kind of the same, really.
Yeah, so technically, if you really want to be they have 3 days.
Want to be real technical, it's 3 days. Whatever.
Whatever. Just the general point is Star Wars is everywhere, okay? And this is what started it all. So, George Lucas, when he created this movie, honestly had no idea what was going to happen.
He didn't realize how big of a franchise he was going to have.
You actually find out that the budget for this movie was extremely low. They had to use every bit of their budget, and they didn't even know if it was going to flop, if it was going to make it, or what was going to happen. But it ended up being a huge success, which was shocking to everyone in the movie, including George Lucas. And so then that's how we got the rest of it. But even after that, they never knew that we were going to get the prequels, and then we were going to get these other Star Wars movies, and then we were going to get 7 and 8, and now 9,
and then now its own section at Disney World.
Yeah, its own section in Disney World, plus this awesome new TV show on Disney Plus. Like, no, George Lucas, when he created this movie, had no idea what was about to happen. A whole new world for generations opened up, and I'm very thankful.
But at the same time, not even knowing how big it was going to be, he still put quite a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, it's a really great movie, and it holds up very well. Even, 30 plus years later, with all the new technology we have for movies, and like even if you watch the newer Star Wars movies and you see their technology, like honestly, I would go, no, episode 4, 5, and 6 are way better, just because it's just the originals. It's just, they're beautiful.
It's great. I'm gonna bring this up because I brought it up during the movie. The only thing I have a problem with, as far as the direction they were going, as far as set design, costumes, or whatever, is and Ryan was like, well, it is the 70s. But the fact of the matter is, Luke's aunt has a jean jacket. Yes, she's a jean jacket on and a flowery collared shirt. They put no effort whatsoever.
He pointed this out in the movie, and then every other scene, I could not stop staring at it.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But I also pointed out that we just found out. Some people probably already knew this, but I just found out that Luke Skywalker's pants are actually Levi blue jeans bleached white. I mean, that's how small their budget was. It wasn't like they could just go out and get all these crazy costumes and outfits that they have now.
It's not like now where they have like 15 of different, each different costume.
The money
with slightly different wear and tear.
The money that they had for costumes had to go for the aliens that were going to be completely weird looking. They had to make those kind of look different. And even then, I mean, they still...
Everything looks all grungy and scratched up and dirty. Nothing's ever quite clean, like all super smudgy Vader.
Yeah.
He's all gross and smudgy and fingerprinty.
But it's still one of the best movies in history. Just the best. It's just... I just love it, okay? Like, my heart just beats Star Wars, okay? If you know me in real life, you know that I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I just love Star Wars.
I think it mostly just has to do with the fact that it just instantly hooks you with how likable all the characters are.
Yeah, that...
Each of you get a sense for their personalities, what their ideals are, that sort of thing, which is one of the problems of the prequels.
Yeah.
Is because they were so focused on getting story and setting up the original trilogy that it didn't really focus much on making you care about the characters that were in them, which is kind of what worked with the original trilogy, is that you liked these characters and wanted to see them succeed, no matter all the different troubles they were going through.
You're right. And one thing that's really awesome about this, Star Wars 2 is I just think that it has a little bit of everything. It's got that mysterious factor because you don't really know what this Force really is because this is brand new. But also it's got these really cool shooting battles. So if you got people that really like guns and stuff like that, that's something that's really ties you. But then it's also got these really cool flight scenes and space battles. And then it's also got it's got really good dialogue and it's got character development. It's got everything that a movie needs. And it's there.
There was more heart in this one than the prequels. I mean, there really was. It's like he said, it's like he was giving his all. This was his baby.
Yeah.
The other ones, it was like, we got the technology now. Let's, we can.
For this one, it was a huge risk.
Yes.
Yeah, he was risking everything.
But he was still passionate about it. Whereas with the prequels,
money,
he's like, I have the money.
Yeah.
What's the worst that's going to happen if these do bad? At least I'll get to make them the way I want to make them.
Right. And it's great. And yeah, of course, there are things that happen in the movies that don't line up super well with the prequels.
Yeah, it's got a couple of continuity
at the same time, I take the original more canon than I do the prequels because those came first. Those were the original ideas. So yeah, I think one of my favorite scenes, though, is the Death Star scene where they're Luke is flying and he's using the computer technology first, and then he hears Obi-Wan's ghost, his Force ghost, and is like, use the Force, Luke, use the Force. And so he turns off the computer, and then everybody at the Rebel base is like, are you okay? Are you okay? You've turned off your computer. He's like, no, I'm fine. I've got this. And he uses the Force, and that was like, when I was a kid, like, that gave me goosebumps, and it still does, because you're like, he's going into his own. He's really reaching into that potential that Obi-Wan told him he could do before he died, and he reaches it, and then he succeeds, and boom, he saves the Rebel base. He saves all this work that's been, that he just now got into. It's not something that he helped build up. It's just something that he got thrown into because he picked up these two droids. So it's like, it's crazy awesome. And it's just like, it's just great.
I will say the one thing that the film is lacking that a lot of people would probably complain about is lightsaber battles, which, to be fair, is the very first one.
True.
And just if you've watched all the other ones, you're seeing how there's all these big flips and flopping all around, jumping from platform to platform. This one's just lightweight tapping sticks. And it kind of stands out. Of course, to be fair, it's not a focus of the film. The lightsaber battle in this is just sort of something that exists.
Well, yeah.
It's not really anything that's super important like it becomes in the later films.
I think it's because that was totally something brand new, and he was
I
don't really know if anyone's going to like these lightsaber things. They know what guns are, they know what spaceships are, so let's go with something that they know. But then everyone was like, I want to see more lightsabers.
It could also be more like they just wanted to give them a little taste of it for that, and they were purposely saving it for the sequels.
Who knows? I don't know, but all I know is that is one kind of sad scene. But it's still a good scene.
It's still an iconic scene. It's just, going into it, it's not going to be this big, epic, action-packed orchestral music. It's mostly just...
Yeah, don't think about that.
If you want big and epic, there's a group on YouTube that did that whole fight scene, Reimagined. Big and epic. Pretty good job.
It's pretty dope.
I'll link in the description below. Why not? It's a great video. You should totally check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It got some sound effects from the episode 3 that brings it ties it all in, and so it's just a really good reimagining of that scene. So go check it out. But yeah, that's kind of a flaw. I think another thing, but again, they didn't know where this movie was gonna head. But the whole how Luke and Leia was kind of flirty. Again, they didn't know where the movie was going to go, and so it's not like honestly, he probably didn't even think this movie was going to make a second one. So he may have had thoughts about it, but probably not really. And so he's like, oh, whatever. Let's do a love triangle. But then he was like, wait a second, I can't do this. They're going to be brother and sister. So then he scratched the whole thing. But that's the one thing that's just weird.
Which kind of makes things a little weird going back. But at the same time, it makes sense. But at the same time, it's still weird.
It's still weird because you're like, that's your sister. That's your brother. But at the same time, we're like,
it's like you take any of those moments from either 4 or 5 and just go, that's your sister. Or that's your brother. And it's just...
Don't think about it too much. Don't think about it too much.
It makes it... I'm sorry. It makes it weirder later on that she says, I always knew. I think if they left that line out and they acted like they didn't know at all, or she said, I kind of always knew, or I kind of always felt like that, or whatever, that would
had it not been acknowledged,
had it not been acknowledged, it'd been a lot less awkward.
Truth.
But yeah, also a thing I mentioned when we were watching, this movie feels a lot longer than it really is.
Yes.
Just due to the pacing, and it envelops you so much, and you get so into what's going on the screen that you realize, oh wait, I've hardly been sitting here, and so much has been happening.
Yeah.
We're at the part at the end where they're getting ready to go fight the Death Star.
22
and we
minutes
look at this thing, 20 minutes left. I'm just like, what? This doesn't feel like there's 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
It feels like this should be a lot longer.
But at the same time, it's so good that it flies by, and you're like, wait, it's over?
Yeah, it's got you so entangled and so deep within its story that you realize, oh wait, I've only been sitting here for 5 minutes.
And it's great. And what is really awesome to me about the whole Star Wars franchise, even though there are some, not so great movies, and then we have some okay movies, and then we have great movies, obviously, like this one, is the generations that are able to watch it together. I mean, I was introduced to this because of my dad, because he owned the movies, and he watched it when they came out in theaters. And now, looking back, you see other people are introducing it to their kids, and then I'll be able to introduce it to my kids one day. And so it's this is something that's going to hold value because it's something that you can watch together. And it's also it's not like some trilogies where it's like, okay, if you're 6 years old, you don't need to watch this because it's too much gore or it's too adult-like. Like, this is something
that's easily family-friendly, really.
Any family can watch.
It's got some darker elements in it, but for the most part, anyone of any age can really watch it and understand what's going on.
And that's one thing that I love about it, too, is just because, like, this is something that families can watch and their kids can grow into it. And like, I think that's something that's just really incredible about the whole Star Wars trilogy, is that it's not just something that was for our parents, it's something that was for us as well. And then we got more, and then we've gotten more, and we've gotten more. And yes, we can debate on if some of these should have been made or whatever, but the point of the matter is we get to just see something continue to grow past us or past our parents' generation, which unfortunately can't be said for all movies.
Indeed. So ultimately, this is a truly great film. Can't recommend it more enough.
Yeah, for real. I'd give it like a gazillion thumbs up if I could, but I only got 2. So.
It's not my personal favorite of the franchise, but it's a really good one still, nonetheless.
Truth.
So
yes.
Anything to add, Michael?
No. Y'all are really good. Y'all summarized really good.
All right.
Well, anywho, we'll hope you have a fantastical day, or a fantastical evening, or a fantastical sleep. Whatever you're having.
If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like down below. Feel free to give a comment. Tell us what you think of Star Wars.
Tell us about the time that you watched Star Wars for the first time.
Yes, tell us your first Star Wars experiences and what you hope to expect to see in Rise of Skywalker to hopefully fill out this whole Skywalker saga and see how they properly end it.
For real.
Maybe
also,
this time, unless they decide to make another trilogy. I don't know.
Anyway, also, subscribe to our channel to see more crazy weirdness like this. We've got other things coming out, maybe that aren't just movie reviews and that aren't just Star Wars. We're just
behind because Star Wars comes out in a couple weeks.
We're just behind because of college and life, and people got sick, so it's like we're having to catch up. But it is what it is. So continue to subscribe, continue just watching us.
You can go check out my channel if you want. I do stupid stuff. You can check out her channel. She's planning on doing stuff. Or you can not check out his channel because he doesn't have anything yet.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you all so much for watching.
And remember, may the Force be with you.
Always.